I'll say good afternoon. It's about 12:01. American Rescue Plan Act Committee, December 7th, 2023. Roll call, please.
Alt.
Here.
Crowe. Present. Awful. Here. Sure.
Yep.
Ducat.
You've had a chance to look at the agenda. Can I get a motion?
So we accept the agenda as presented.
So we have John and Charlie for first and second, please. Whenever you're ready. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Any public comments? Nobody's here for public comment. We'll discuss, review, and take action on ARPA applications. We'll start with 130, Iroquois County Assessment, DevNet Canvas software.
I didn't bring my apron. I didn't bring a pencil to
Which-
class. Yeah, what are we?
Mr. Chairman, I move we table that. Tax committee is not making a decision on it.
All right, thank you so much. Move on to number 131, Iroquois County Assessment Property Parcel Digitization Work.
Did you make a motion to table that, or you just?
1:30, yes.
Do we need to make a
What are we
motion?
tabling and why?
Well, I thought John made a motion.
Because we haven't made a decision on tax.
Well, then we need to vote.
Okay, so that's a first. We have a second then.
Brian, did you make the motion to table it?
That's what I said.
I'm
Okay,
sorry.
I just wanted to make sure.
Sorry, that was in the form of a
I'll
motion.
second it.
Thank you. Do we have any further discussion on it? You want to do a roll call vote to move it?
Alt.
Yes.
Crowe.
Yes.
Awful.
Yes.
Sure.
Yep.
Ducat.
Yep. We tabled it because we did not make a decision in tax to go with DevNet or
Oh, okay.
Vanguard.
All right, I got you.
The only thing that was done in tax was the property parcel digitization work for EcoView.
Okay.
So we'll move on to application 131, Iroquois County Assessment Property Parcel Digitization Work. Boy, I'm probably saying that word today. Should I
Mr.
practice?
Chairman, as you know, EcoView's bid was, for the total amount for a 6-year deal was $410,628. Since that meeting, the letter has been received from EcoView indicating that if we enter into an agreement with them by the end of this year, or the end of this month, same thing, we will receive a 3% discount off of the total 6-year agreement.
And that price is?
Well, the letter goes on to say that the updated pricing would be $397,238.40. However, 3% of $410,628 is $398,309.16. There's a difference of $1,070.76. Prior to this meeting, I had a brief discussion with Ms. McCannon about that, and she was gonna talk to EagleView to try and get some clarification on the amount, so that if we enter into this agreement and the documents are signed, we don't have any misunderstandings or whatever else problems you run into.
And what did they say it was gonna be?
They said it was gonna be $397,238.40.
Oh, we'll go with theirs, it's cheaper.
Yes,
we are.
and I did speak to Trent, and he said it's an approximate 3%, and yes, we would go off of the number he provided. And he said that's because they don't take 3% necessarily off the top, they take it off of line items, and the way it all calculates out is to that $397,238.40. He said that is the number.
So
Well,
that's an additional savings of $1,070.
Yes, over 3%. I didn't calculate out what it is, but yes, it's slightly over 3%. And that is with us signing an agreement by the end of the year. We do have to pay them in full to get that percentage discount, and that discount would be, we would have to pay them by the time they give us the flyover information. So before they provide us with the imagery and all that information onto our server, they would have to get paid.
We don't
So in
have
the
to pay,
spring,
we don't have to pay them a penny until that time, we just have to get the documents signed.
correct, that was, yep.
Now, this is
what I would do, Mr. Chairman, is I would make a motion that we adopt a resolution to accept the proposal from Eagle View in the amount of $397,238.40. With the understanding that the paperwork and agreements will be completed by the end of December 30, before December 31 of 2023.
There's already a motion on the floor, but do we have any discussion?
Yes.
I would love to explain it since it's my committee if you have any questions.
So we are on application number 131.
Correct.
And the amount of money we're talking about is $397,238.40, and that's for property parcel digitization.
You bet.
Okay. So in application number 130, we were just tabled.
Correct.
What was the total on that again, please?
On 130?
Yes.
There is
There was two.
There's two.
Yeah, there's two.
So the one from Vanguard was $170,523. The one from DevNet was $51,301.
And the one from Vanguard is going to change because they gave us a bid before, the month before, that was way different. So we still have to wait. That's why that got taken in tax.
Their
So
bid
130
included modules
130's been tabled.
that aren't necessary for us to
I
get.
understand, I'm trying to look at the big picture here, I know I'm going backwards. So in 130, everybody was talking, I didn't get the numbers, so can you repeat that please, Jill?
Sure. Vanguard was $170,523, and DevNet was $51,301.
51,301. And Vanguard is doing what? Did you just
They're
tell
going to
me?
be changing their bid to a different number. We're just waiting on,
I mean, really what happened is DevNet gave us whatever they gave us when they came prior to me starting. They didn't even look at my RFP and bid based on what was in my RFP. My RFP, I took information from other counties. There was a couple things I overlooked, such as workstation amounts. The county that gave me this has 20 workstations, we have 5. So Vanguard's bid increased from what they previously gave us, because I actually read the RFP and provided a fee structure based on what my RFP said, but there were more things than what we actually need in my RFP, if that makes sense.
There were additional items that we should have.
That we don't necessarily need that they bid on because they actually read my RFP and said, oh, you asked for 20 workstations, so yes, your bid is more because we're providing you 20 workstations. I said, oh, I didn't mean to ask for 20 workstations. Again, I kind of took somebody else's CAMA thing
I understand.
and tweaked it, and there was a couple things I missed on it, such as not needing 20 workstations, only needing 5. So there was like 3 instances of things like that drove Vanguard's bid up from their original bid. And DevNet didn't even look at our RFP at all, just submitted the exact same thing they submitted back in June or July when they came.
And keep in
So-
mind too, when you guys look at Vanguard, we also need to look at the cost for area-wide to put in a server and do the work. And why I say that is because they don't have to do it with DevNet, we already have the DevNet server, which we actually replaced, I think, 2 years ago now.
And we have a quote
So
from
there's-
area-wide for
Yeah, and there's
that.
plenty of room for DevNet, but I just want you to keep in mind that there's I don't know what their quote, if that's an updated quote or.
Yeah, it was from November,
So
that
it's like
Bernie
$5,000.
sent for, it was $4,000.
So
Here,
with
but-
DevNet, we've already got that in place.
DevNet, we already have it, so then we'll have to order anything else and.
Right, we're assuming, again, they didn't read my RFP at all and bid based on what my RFP stated because everybody charges per workstation and their bid didn't change.
This is good info because I've been somewhat confused even though I got to attend a part of the presentation previously. Now we're down to push come to shove and this is done, I need to get it.
so
So what?
I'd like to tell you about the property parcel utilization program that we're gonna have.
Okay,
The nice thing is, it's not just for me. Bria will be able to use it for her office. Also, it'll be for 911, and would be
Right,
for
and I
yes.
like to call that a flyover or aerial imagery, cause then you start confusing digitization with gamma.
So when an officer goes out there in 911, he'll know exactly where they're going, what the house is, what the situation would be, and maybe he'll have an idea too of what's going on. He'll be able to pull up on his map also.
Right,
So
Brianne
like-
brought to the attention that her department could use GIS because of the layers involved in different things with
Yeah.
precincts, school districts, there's more departments involved in needing it. Yes, it's a huge part of me being able to better do my job. Recognize parcels that are on properties that aren't being assessed, but there are other departments that will hugely benefit from it also.
Now, I've forgotten from the presentation, we talked about changes when I was in your office the other day. Will this just, will the program, after the flyover's done, will you push a button and it'll say, oh, change here, change here, change here,
They will
change
send
here?
us an itemized spreadsheet per parcel of the changes, yes. And in fact, if I never got the RFP, so I wasn't sure on how to answer this, we will get that for the second flyover too. So the change finder will be done the first time when we have it in 24, it'll be compared to our 2014 flyover, which they'll need that information to be able to provide us that. But then when they do the second flyover in 27, they'll again do another change finder along with that. That's all included
So we get 2 flyovers in the 6-year period?
in the 6 years with the change finder, yes.
With the change.
Yes.
Now, before you accept a second,
Oh,
we had discussed taking some funds out of GIS.
Mhm.
I just didn't want you to forget, did you wanna take 100,000 out of GIS, which would only mean that she would need to be approved for 297 through 238.40? Or do you wanna go lower, or do you not wanna use it at all? That's up to you guys. But I just didn't want you to forget that we had
Conversations that we've
discussed the
had.
GIS fund.
If we do 297, just like Joe said, and we take 100 out of GIS, then we will have more than enough to cover left over. We have 200 and what left over?
So if you were to take care of the flyover and let's say Vanguard at the quote they already gave, you take the 100 out of GIS, that would leave you with $481,151 that you would need. So that would leave us with $218,000 for the morgue.
That's all.
Now, if you were to go with the flyover and DevNut as it's been proposed, it's $461,929. If you were to use 100,000 out of GIS, that would put it down to $361,929, which would mean that we would have $338,071 left for the morgue. And whatever else.
More than a couple hundred.
The what?
And so if we get to 0, that gets us to 0 in the ARPA fund, your last, either scenario.
Either scenario, that would put us pretty close to 0.
Okay, and I realize.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to amend my motion that we take 100,000 from GIS fund and the 297, whatever it is. I get my
297,
paperwork.
238.40.
I don't have my paperwork anymore, Mrs. Crowe has it.
You're right, it'd be 297, 238.40 would be the leftover. We take 100 out of GIS. Mia, do you think that is acceptable?
I trust Jill.
Yeah.
Jill knows where
One
money's coming in.
We ran numbers,
It was,
I just,
money was put in it to cover this
Mhm.
in the future at some point
In
place.
GIS.
Right, that's what that fund was created for.
Right. What's the current balance in GIS, please?
Oh, what did I say,
160, yeah.
160, but we need to leave some in there because they still pay for one of their deputy clerk's positions out of there. And they pay for Bruce Harris' monthly fees of $500, or monthly, right?
The 500 is monthly, which is the GIS that I was showing you online that the public can use. Bruce Harris does that at a cost of $500 a
Yeah,
month.
so I didn't wanna take it completely down.
And the assessor's office, one clerk's, is that your office?
Yeah.
One
Yes,
clerk's
yes,
being
well,
paid
her
out?
pay is, right, she's the GIS deputy clerk, that's
Got
her title.
Okay, I'll second John's motion.
All right, so we'll go back to the motion. John made the motion for, now $297,238, $297,238.40, with $100 being taken out of GIS. We have a second motion from Donna. Is there any further conversation?
How much did you say coming out of GIS?
100,000. And there's still 60,000 left over in there for the employee and for Bruce.
And they
For $500
collect about,
I don't remember,
it was like
but
40, I think it was like 40 to 45,000 that it ends up collecting a year, so that,
I think we said around 50.
was it, okay,
and it was
enough money
all
that
in
we
an
knew
effort to
in
get a
10
new
years
flyover.
From now, if they decide to do it again, collecting, they'll be able to pay for this GIS flyover on their own. The county will be able to.
At some point, I don't know, 911 was looking for grant money. They thought they had grant money for a flyover.
It was not the resolution, it wasn't quite the same, it was at a higher altitude to do the flyover, but it was still a grant that I believe the way 911 explained it to me, that Bob had to write and do to get it, and he didn't do it, so.
All right, go ahead and do,
It was gonna be something free through the 911, the state police, but something had to be written to get it.
all right, ready for roll call?
Oates,
Yes.
Crowe,
Yes.
Apple, yes, Sure,
Yes.
Ducat.
Definitely. All right, so Mia, congratulations. Application 131 has now been put through for $297,238.40. It'll be done at the full county board meeting on Tuesday, and then we can move forward with you.
How much does that leave?
that leaves us with 416,000, give or take some change.
So we've got 416 left. The application for the Iroquois County morgue is how much?
225, and we've already spent 15,800 on a cooler.
We're gonna be hoping to go out for bids on that whole project shortly, soon.
So with knowing what the application was put in for the Iroquois County morgue, we'll still have 191,000 left over to take care of the application 130. And then we can wrap this up.
And I'm assuming that you're keeping track of administrative costs and things like that we've been paying those all along, or did you leave that?
I've
for
only
the
been
end?
charging paper and supplies. I haven't put any of our salaries towards it.
Okay,
I don't feel comfortable doing that unless it's been approved by the committee.
are you tracking the amount of time that you've accumulated?
I have a rough estimate, yeah.
So that we could possibly, let's shore that up, so when, at the end, we can look at the time that you've spent.
Right.
Because I seriously, at least it's in my mind that we would make that,
Right.
at the end, we would give that serious consideration.
It's a lot of work they've done.
What was that? I didn't follow, I didn't get it.
Administrator. We'll move to number 92, Iroquois County morgue. As John said, we're waiting on final bids, correct, sir?
We haven't gone out for bids yet, but we will be going out for bids soon. We'll be right
So
at
we'll
the
put-
beginning of the new year.
So 130 and 92 will be put on next month's ARPA meeting. Do we have any old business? Do we have any new business? Can I get a motion to adjourn? We'll take Barb as the first and Don as the second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion passes. Thank you, everybody.